All right, we do be back. In the last one, the kids finished their project and went home. We developed more of the story with what was his name? Oh gosh, Tommy and his family. How we got more into his like relationship and his thoughts on it all. And it was just a good time. And now we're at the meeting. Well, we're outside the meeting, waiting for Aspen to have dinner with this person from the publishers, and we're gonna see how all that's going. So with all that being said, let's just get on into it. I sit on a bench with a book in my lap, pretending to read. In reality, I'm not even trying. I'm watching the plaza across from me where Aspen sits at a table alone. I offered to sit with her, but she declined, saying this was something she needed to do alone. Still, she knows I'm watching, even if I'm too far to hear. Pulling my phone out of my pocket, I slowly type a message, wishing Aspen good luck and send it. From a distance, I see her check her phone, and an instant later receive a few heart emojis in response. Just then a stranger approaches her, and the two of them talk for a second, before Aspen jumps up to shake their hand. They both sit back down, and Aspen scoots her chair in closer. They chat for a long while, enough for the waitress to come out and refill her drink several times. From what I can tell, it looks like the agent is doing most of the talking, and Aspen is mostly listening. Even from behind, I can tell when she's saying something, because of the way she sits up and starts to move about animatedly. After a while, the agent opens her briefcase and passes some papers to Aspen, who stares at them. The agent stands, and a few seconds later, Aspen does too. They shake hands a second time before the agent pays their bill and leaves, Aspen lingering at the table. Did he give her like a contract? They talked about all the things she needed to like fix or change up, and now she's signed a contract to get published? Oh my gosh, is that what's happening? When a couple more minutes pass by and she still doesn't move, I get up and go to her instead.
Hey, you.
Startled, Aspen looks around before looking up to see me.
Oh, Miho. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was just...
It's alright. I don't mind. How'd it go?
The fact that I have to ask means I already know the answer. Oh, if it had gone as hoped, then I'm sure Aspen would be out of her seat jumping for joy.
It went... fine,
Oh,
I think.
come on.
You think?
Yeah. Shall we head back to the library? It's rather hot, isn't it?
Oh, what was the paper? What did the paper pull out that he wanted her to sign? Did he did they want like too much of the story changed to the point where like she didn't really feel like it's her story? I don't know. It could be something like that.
Sure. Let's go.
It's not hot at all. In fact, it's downright pleasant. But I'm sure that's not the real reason she wants to get out of here. I lead the way, and although Aspen never lets go of my hand, she doesn't say anything either. The library still has a few guests in it when we get there, but we pass by. We haven't done our job in a few days. This is, ugh. Sorry, Juliet. But we pass them by and head to the dining room instead, only to find it's already occupied.
Oh, hello.
Juliet has papers of her own spread on the table, but she sweeps them together and tucks them away as she greets us.
Hey!
Still silent, Aspen distractedly sits down, already pulling out the packet the agent gave her to examine. Juliet gives me a questioning look, and I offer a tiny shrug in response. I assume we're going to find out what's on Aspen's mind soon. There are two parts to the packet. The first one is huge, almost as thick as a book. It must be the copy of the manuscript Aspen sent in. The second one is much smaller, but still lengthy. That's the one Aspen focuses on. She reads over the document, which has to at least be a dozen pages long, if not more. Even worse, the printed words are really tiny. Finally, she puts both bundles in her bag, chewing on her lip before speaking.
I think I can do this.
Do what?
Aspen snaps her attention to me, like she just noticed she's not alone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I spaced out.
Yeah, we could tell.
Oh, I'm so scared for her.
It's quite all right. It's clear you have a lot to think about.
Yes, well, hopefully I've got most of the thinking out of the way.
She slumps back, shoulders rising and falling as she sighs.
They said it needs a lot of work, which is understandable. I already knew that from all the rejection notices.
Okay.
I hadn't realized the scope of the issues, but fortunately they did. When I saw all the markups, I was taken aback at first. It made sense when I thought about it, though. They're a publisher for a reason, and as a first-time author, I want a publisher for a reason. so it needs a lot of work. A lot of rewriting, really. But they encouraged me to fix it up and then resubmit. They asked me to make my decision by Halloween, so I have a few weeks to think it over. But I think I'd be a fool not to do it, right?
Yeah? Aspen looks at Juliet and me in turn, and from her knitted brows and small frown, I can tell Juliet is thinking the same thing I am.
You don't sound convinced.
It's a big decision. Surely you don't need to make it right away. Why not take advantage of the time they gave you to think about it?
I don't have to decide right now. But if I just let myself think about it too long, I'll never do anything. I've learned that the hard way. Besides,
Her voice drops and face falls.
there may not be another chance.
I follow her gaze. Tucked into her bag near where the papers from the agent were stuffed, I can see the corners of several more empty envelopes. Oh. Oh, this is so sad. This is like hurting my heart so bad. More for Aspen's collection. She catches me looking and nudges the bag shut with her foot.
I suppose you're right, though. I should give it a bit more thought. It can wait until after the weekend, at least.
Yeah. Relieved, Juliet nods.
I think that's a wise idea.
We spent the rest of the evening together, chatting and having a good time. None of us mentioned writing or Aspen's book again, including her. Still, there's something in the way she talks and laughs like she's only half listening. I'd hoped that her meeting would make Aspen feel better and relaxed again, the way she was on our date at the gardens. Instead, it seems like it's done the opposite. It's hard to see her struggle, and I wish there was something I could do, but I'm the least qualified person to give Aspen advice on something like this. I don't know anything about books or writing or publishers. I do know how important writing is to her and how many of her dreams revolve around it. I know how hard she's worked and will keep working. No matter what, I also know that it's something she'll have to decide for herself, with or without advice from Juliet and me. Of course, I'll support Aspen no matter what she chooses. I just hope that whatever decision she makes, she won't end up regretting it later. By the time Aspen has to head home, she's perked up a little bit, but not enough to make me stop worrying about her. Still, she says goodbye with a kiss and a smile, and a promise to come by in the morning. Right now, that'll have to be good enough for me. That's so sad. That's so depressing. Oh, I really like genuinely was sitting there like that whole time like Jazz. Yeah, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be so good for her. It's gonna happen. She's finally gonna get like her book published, or like they're gonna be like, yeah, just a few tiny little fixes and then we'll be there. And then it was like all sad. On Saturday morning, I wake up around my usual time, but linger in bed for a while. I can hear the distant sounds of Aspen and Juliet having an animated conversation. Aspen laughs, then Juliet laughs. I don't know what they're laughing about, but I smile too. I just like hearing my girlfriend laugh, after all. Oh, no matter what kind of troubles are weighing on our minds. If she's able to laugh despite everything, then that's a win in my book. Aside from a couple hasty meals, it's been a while since the two of them have really gotten to spend much time together. Sometimes it's easy to forget that they've known each other longer than they've known me. Outside, it's shaping up to be another beautiful day. There are clouds, but none of them are rain clouds. The trees and grass sway in a gentle breeze beyond my window. I've had more beautiful days here than I can count. Even Wellington weather at its worst isn't so bad from indoors. I open my window, enjoying the morning air as I freshen myself up too. Making my way silently to the kitchen, I pause just out of sight and listen.
I've given it lots of thought.
I have, but I still can't decide. Regina,
But
Oh,
there
I didn't
are
mean to click
good
it.
And bad parts of both.
I have, but I still can't decide. Regina really wants me to take it, of course, but okay, so they're talking about their job, but there are good and bad parts of both.
exactly. I feel like I'm not sure who to compare it to.
No need to compare. I understand what you mean.
For a little while longer, I stare where I am, unseen. Not because I want to eavesdrop or spy on Aspen and Juliet, but because I don't want to interrupt them. I just want to let them talk. Maybe I'll just do that. Hearing Aspen express some of her worries and hearing Juliet offer words of encouragement reminds me of some of my earliest days here. Both of them changed their lives around to include me, which is something I'll always be grateful for. Still, I should give them a chance to spend some time with just each other. Not because I feel unwelcomed, but because that hasn't really happened since I arrived. Look at Miho just being a great friend. What the? What the wasn't like, oh, this is so unexpected. It's just like, this is so good. It's just so good. Eventually, there's a moment of silence followed by a sound of a cup being set on the table. I choose this time to make my entrance.
Ah, there you are.
Good morning, Miho.
Good morning.
I go into the kitchen and grab a piece of toast and an apple, but I don't sit down.
Sleep well.
Sure did. Now that I'm up, though, I think I'm gonna go for a walk.
This early? Well, it was quite nice on my way up here.
Yeah, I used to go for morning walks all the time, but it's been a while.
You couldn't have picked a better day, it seems. Enjoy yourself then, Miho.
I will. See you when I'm back.
For good measure, I wrap a couple more slices of toast in a paper towel and put them in one of my deep pockets, along with another apple and some packs of jam. I wave goodbye before I leave, and then I head back to my room to get dressed before stepping outside towards the road. Munching on my breakfast as I walk, I hum a song, and hang on, I really need to send a text really quick after this. Munching on my breakfast as I walk, I hum a song to myself that I heard on TV. I go in the direction of the ocean, same as usual. It's just a quick little text about my doggo. Okay, just really quick. No, why did... So I was texting, and then all my stuff, like, changed the positions. Hang on, sorry. This is so unprofessional. Okay, there we go. Cool. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. Munching the same direction. Oh, my mouse moved too. There we go. My days of aimless wandering really have decreased. I actually have places to go now and people to see. A day without any plans is a luxury. Oh, I agree. I wonder how Zhang Yin chose where to go in. I wonder how Zhang Yin chose where to go in their travels. What first brought them to my forest all those years ago? Was it on a whim, or was there something in particular they were searching for? If there was, I hope they found it. I would have loved to ask. Would have loved to tell them all about Juliet and Aspen. I don't know why my brain read that in reverse. More than anything, though, I wish I could have thanked them. Our time together was short, even by human standards, but it still meant everything to me. I take myself to Mount Victoria and start the familiar climb. But before I get to the top, I stop. It's only been a couple days since I last came here and saw Silver. Trying to visit her again so soon might be pushing my luck, but then again, so is trying to pay her a visit at all. The lukewarm toast and apple in my pocket aren't much, but if she lives anything like I did, she'll still appreciate them. Even if she doesn't say it. Instead of transforming, I stay on 2 feet, heading in the same direction I went last time. I'm not too concerned about finding her. If she wants to be found, she will be. Keeping my eyes and ears peeled, I watch for a glint of silver fur or the sound of a snapping branch. When I finally spot her, it's purely by accident. Once again, she's in her human form rather than fox. With her back to me, she kneels at the edge of a patch of grass, attention focused on something that I can't see. She doesn't move as I approach, although I'm sure she knows I'm there.
Be careful.
I halt, still a few feet away. At least she didn't call me a dog.
What is it?
I approach delicately, scanning the ground before every step. Finally, I arrive behind her and look down to find my answer. Oh. A bird the size of my hand lies on its side in the grass. It's alive but clearly injured.
What happened to it?
This one was blown from its perch in the tree. For whatever reason, it was too weak to fly. Now, its leg is broken. It won't be long until it dies.
Looking down, I see that Silver's right about his injury. It struggles to flap its wings, but it can't seem to even push itself into a standing position.
Poor thing.
Hey, wait. Sorry, another sneeze. I sneezed in the last one too. I've been very sneezy today.
You
I kneel down
can't
beside
help
Silver.
it, right?
She
It is
scoffs.
beyond help. Such is nature's way. I simply thought to put it out of its misery.
You didn't, though.
Silence. Before doing anything else, I reach into my pocket and pull out the food I brought with me, holding it out towards Silver.
I brought you this.
She looks at it, but doesn't make any move
What
to
is
accept
this?
it.
Poison?
Heck yeah.
It's
Came
an
all
apple
here to poison you.
and some toast. It's not poisoned. I ate some myself. Ooh, and this.
I have to dig all the way down to the bottom to find the little pack.
Fruit jelly.
Silver stares incredulously, like I'm trying to give her, well, poison or something. I set the food down by her knees and turn my attention back to the bird.
Let's get you some help, Birdie.
I cut my fingers together and reach for the bird, which finally gets a reaction
What are
from
you
Silver. Her voice is sharp like a knife.
Let's take this guy back home.
I may not know what to do, but I'm sure Aspen or Juliet will. It's better than just leaving it out here to
Why?
die.
It's weak. Even were it to survive today, it's only a matter of time before something else claims its life.
So what? I'm sure that time still matters to it. Both of us can relate, right?
As gently as I can, I slide my hands around the struggling bird and scoop up the poor little thing. Its beady eyes look around frantically, and I can feel its tiny heart pounding in its tiny chest. I start heading back towards the library as fast as I can. Before I get very far, there's a noise from behind me, and I look back to see Silver following me. An empty paper towel dangles from her hand. Smiling to myself, I keep walking. When I step from the woods back onto the path, I expect Silver to have disappeared. Instead, she takes a few cautious steps out, looking left and right, as if a car might come barreling down the mountain. Is she actually going to go back to the library with us? Avoiding my eyes, she walks past me and keeps going like she was planning to do this anyway. Oh. When we reach the base of Mount Victoria, she's a few meters ahead of me, and I clear my throat loudly to get her attention.
It's this way.
She stomps after me, annoyed at Wellington for its geography or something. Her clothes, which are clearly meant to help her sneak around at night, stand out like a sore thumb in the morning sun. They also must be hot as hell. If either of those things bother her, she doesn't let herself show it. I curl my fingers to shade the bird as much as I can. It seems to have calmed down a little, but that's probably more from exhaustion than anything. When we reach the library, Silver trails far behind. I wait at the entrance, not sure if she's coming or not. I don't ask, she'll do what she wants either way. After a moment, she walks up the hill and joins me. I simply nod in acknowledgement before I push the door open with my shoulder, Silver behind me like a shadow. Within a second, Aspen pops her head out from the dining room.
No, we were just.
Choking in surprise, Aspen's eyes go wide as a saucer she notices my companion. She disappears from sight, and I can only imagine what she's saying to Juliet right now. Behind me, Silver looks around in curious awe, although she stops when she notices me watching. I jerk my head back towards the dining room and head in. Both Aspen and Juliet are there waiting, trying to appear casual, but by the way they're both silently staring at the entrance, I'm sure it's just an act.
Silver.
She nods at the ground and says nothing, displaying none of her usual venom or drama. It feels as if she's hiding behind me, which is something I wouldn't have expected her pride to allow.
It's quite nice to meet you, Silver.
Charmed.
None of them know what to say. I can't blame them. Fortunately, there's something more important to talk
Came
about.
here because we need some help. Or at least this guy does.
I uncurl my fingers and tilt my hands for Aspen and Juliet to see. I doubt either of them even noticed I was carrying something. They both lean in to
What's
see.
this?
The bird starts to struggle again, probably because of how many more people are suddenly staring at it.
His leg. I'll be right back.
Peering at the tiny bird, it doesn't take Juliet more than a second to see what's wrong. She hurriedly departs for the stairs, moving right past Silver without a glance. Silver lurches to the side to get out of her way all the same. Aspen grabs one of the dish rags and folds it up to make a small square, and then sets that on the table.
Here, why don't you put him down on this? I read that it's best to put him in a box or somewhere enclosed, but this will do for now.
I gently lower the bird into the makeshift cushion. Its eyes still dart around, but it doesn't struggle as much. Is that because it's like a nest? Like something enclosed, like a box, like you don't close the box, I'm imagining, when you put it in there. Like you leave it open, but it's like to help it feel like it's in a nest? Is that why it's what it's for? I sigh with relief at being able to unfold my hands, shaking and stretching them out before washing them several times. Juliet returns soon with her phone in one hand and a small cardboard box in the other. Using a kitchen knife, she cuts a few holes in the side of a box, then puts it aside.
Rio, will you help me move him?
She takes 2 corners of the rag and I grab the other 2, and we carefully lift it over the box and set it down
Do
inside.
you think it'll be okay?
I keep my voice at a whisper. Even though the bird can't understand our words, I still don't want it to hear.
I hope so. If not for you, it certainly wouldn't have a chance. I've contacted someone who will be able to provide better assistance than we can. She should be here shortly.
Is it a vet?
No, a contact at the nature preserve. She's rescued quite a few unfortunate creatures like our friend here.
I've never heard of a nature preserve before. What's that?
It's a conservation area on the north side of town. They have a bunch of protected land where they rehabilitate injured animals or ones that can't survive in the wild. I used to go there on class trips sometimes. One time we had a sleepover there, and I saw a kiwi.
She smiles fondly as she recalls the memory.
Whoa. I didn't know a place like that existed.
Also, I super don't know why my voice came out so hoarse when I said that. Like, my throat isn't, like, tired at all. That was so weird.
It's far from the only one. There are dozens more in New Zealand alone, of all different sizes.
Looking at the box on the table, I can't help but feel a little bad for our friend. He's probably never going to see his home on Mount Victoria again, and he doesn't even get a say in it. But where he's going doesn't sound half bad. Like Juliet said, he probably wouldn't have even survived if he'd been left on his own. If not for me and for...
Silver?
I only now realize that she's gone.
I didn't even notice her leave.
She's like that.
I go into the hallway, looking up the stairs and around the room for her. The front door is open, but only a crack. Something's keeping it from closing. Walking over, I spot something on the floor, jammed between the door and the wall. It's the gnawed core of an apple, wrapped in a breadcrumb-covered paper towel. That was so hard to say in my head. Even in my head, I was like, what the freak? No. Laughing, I pick it up and throw it in the trash, letting the door shut behind me. In the dining room, Aspen and Julia are both seated again. It's far past Juliet's bedtime, but she looks as awake and alert as I've ever seen her. I sit down too, waiting for the questions that I know is coming. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take Aspen more than 2 seconds.
So, who exactly was that? Obviously she was a gumiho, but...
I take a deep breath and try to think of where to
It's
begin.
a long story.
You know that's my favorite kind.
Nodding, I finally settle on where to start.
She used to be a fox, just like me.
Oh, I thought they were going to get their reactions to that. Okay. Well, I guess that works out anyways. So, I think with that being said, I think that's a pretty good spot to end it. Aspen is glad she has Miho support. Aww. I don't even know what's going to happen, but that's cute anyways. Regardless, I'm assuming that's what this next little bit's going to be about tonight. But yeah, with all that being said, that was a good episode. I like that. I like that Silver's finally coming into the fold. She came into the story and then disappeared for so long that I was like, what even is she? Like, why was she introduced? But now that she's actually like doing things, I'm like, I kind of like Silver. She's kind of neat, and I'm interested to like learn more about her and see her like open up just a little bit more. She doesn't need like come out and be like the socialist of butterflies ever, but just a little bit more. You know what I mean? Actually, and like interact with other characters. So yeah. With all that being said, I'll see all you beautiful people in the next one. Bye bye.